Over the years, I have found out that there are so many benefits to being married and doing it right. And the truth is that you can do marriage right. I always tell people, marriage is not that deep. The way people make it seem as if marriage is hard work. Marriage is work, yeah. It's hard work, yes. But marriage is not as intense as some of us make it seem. You know, a lot of times people say, oh, I've seen bad marriages, so I don't want to get married. Or I've seen my parents quarrel, so I don't want to get married. And I always ask, is it just because you've seen a car in an accident that you now don't want to buy a car? No. There's nothing wrong with the car. It's possibly that the person was a bad driver. So it's the same way. There's nothing wrong with marriage. It's just that the two people in the marriage probably didn't do it right. And that's not enough to now say, oh, I don't want to get married. Have you been married before? You to go and try and see. But if you have knowledge, most times it's not marriage. Bad marriage is not a love problem, to be honest. Because if you ask people that have been divorced, and sadly now, in this generation, and the way things are now, if you look around you, you will probably meet or know somebody that is going through a divorce or that has been divorced. If you ask them, they can tell you that when they were getting married, they were in love. So that tells me that love is not the problem. Or at least the feeling of love, what people call love, the feeling of love, is never the problem. It's usually a knowledge problem. So a lot of people are getting married, but they don't know what marriage is about. They don't know what they need to do in marriage. They don't know what marriage requires of them. So they get married and end up struggling and making a mess of it. You know, Jesus, when they asked Jesus about marriage, he said, not everyone will get married. He said, some people, nobody's asking them. Some people, nobody's accepting them. He said, some other people, their problem is that they don't have the grace or the aptitude for it. So there's a certain level of grace and aptitude that marriage requires. And Jesus says, if you are capable of it, by all means, get married. So if Jesus is encouraging us to get married, knowing fully well that not everyone will get married, right? So that's one thing that some of us need to settle. So stop running from prophet to prophet, pillar to post. Some of you are not called to marry. But he says, if you have the opportunity, then do it well. And that's what I came to tell you this morning. That if you have the opportunity to get married, do it well, because there are so many benefits to marriage. Okay, so I'll start with Psalm 128, the Passion Translation. You know, in the beginning, the Bible says that it's not good for man to be alone. And God said, I will make him a helper. I will make him a helpmeet. So a helper that is suitable, adaptable, and comparable to him. And the reason why God said that is that if I bring someone else to this man's life, there are benefits that he would never get if he were alone. There are things that he will experience as a married person that as a single person he will never ever achieve it. Am I saying that marriage is by force? No. Marriage is not by force, marriage is by choice. But if you choose marriage, I'm telling you that there are benefits to it if you do it right. So give me Psalm 128, the Passion Translation. Thank you. It says, a song of the stairway, how joyous are those who love the Lord and bow low before God, ready to obey him. Your reward will be prosperity, happiness, and well-being. It says, your wife will bless your heart and home. Your children will bring you joy as they gather around your table. It says, yes, this is God's generous reward for those who love him. Marriage is a reward. Having children is a reward. God says your wife will bless. Like, there's a blessing that comes from being married. Even God himself says, if you love me, it's part of the rewards I give to you. So if God is rewarding you with something as beautiful as marriage, that should tell you that marriage is a beautiful thing. If God is saying, what I want you to do to reward you, usually when you do something for someone and somebody says, I want to reward you, you expect it to be a good thing, right? So if God is saying, I want to reward you, you expect it to be a good thing, right? Because they know they reward you now. People have not collected reward before. Why are people looking at me like that? So when somebody says, I want to reward you, do you expect it to be a good thing or a bad thing? A good thing. So if God says, when you bless me, when you love me and you serve me, part of what I used to reward you is marriage and children. That should tell you that marriage is a good thing. If God himself is offering it to you, that is one of the things I want to give to you because you serve me, He says, it's a reward for you because you serve me. It's a reward for you because you obey me. And he says, I want to reward you, so let me give you marriage and give you children. That should tell you that marriage is a beautiful thing. It is what the world has made it. And this is why I keep shouting on social media. I'm not there by chance. I'm there intentionally. Because when they come there and they put ring light, and they say all the things that they are saying, some children are picking it up and it's entering their spirit. We have to come out and counter it. You know why so many people believe that marriages are bad? It's because those of us with good marriages don't talk. We don't think it's worth talking about. So someone's husband annoys her, she will go to social media and go and say it. And then all the young people are saying, oh, so that's how marriage is. Men are annoying. That's where they start, men are scum, women are scam. Scam. There are all kinds of negative things about marriage. It's flying around because the people who have bad marriages are more vocal than those of us who have happy marriages. Our marriage, no, they work. How is that possible? Look around you now. Look around you. There's still a lot of people who are married. And even if statistics say, and I don't totally agree with that statistic because I don't know if that statistic is taken in the church. They say 50% of first marriages fail. That means that every time two people get married, one will fail. Now, we emphasize on the 50% that will fail. But we've also forgotten that 50% will succeed. So every time they bring out the statistics, your attention immediately goes to 50% will fail. Assuming they brought it out and they said 50% of all marriages will succeed. It gives you more hope to say, I am part of the 50% that will succeed. So the way that statistic has brought out, it has, like I always say, Satan is, you see, the person you are playing with is not playing with you. Satan is not playing with you. You are the one playing with Satan. You are treating him like, oh, it's not Satan, it's a nuisance. No, Satan is your enemy. So he's working to get you and your children. It's not even after you, it's your children. If he can convince you marriage is bad, automatically he has convinced your children that marriage is bad. So Satan is very intentional, and I think we need to be more intentional. More Christians need to be vocal about how good their marriage is. We need to be more vocal about it. So when I go on social media, Pastor Sunday was saying it, that when they drag me, dragging is not your prerogative. If you drag me too, I can drag you. Everybody has a dragging right. The social media is not your own. They say it's social media. So if you come and say your own, me too, I can come and say my own. If you are angry that I said my own, then that's your problem, not mine. But we must enter that, set your face like a flint. Say your own. Bring out your marriage. Put picture of your husband. What's wrong with that? She started putting, it's paining you. As they pain them, it go there sweet. You come back tomorrow, put 2 more pictures. This time add your children. Because why must I conform to this world? If the world does not conform to me, they should leave it to. But me to conform to them, it's not happen. So Christians need to be more vocal. Marriage is a good thing. God says, I will reward you with marriage and children. Then that means it's a good thing. The only thing is we need to do it right. So the real problem is how the knowledge and how we're doing marriage.